Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, everybody. Thanks for being with us on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. However, wherever, whenever you're hanging out with us today, thanks so much for being a part of 580 Sports Talk. I am Dan Lucero. Spencer Dupuy will be along in a bit. Brendan Dorzinski is off today. We are with you for the next 2.5 hours on the program. For the second straight day, we'll be breaking away at 5:30 for some NCAA tournament coverage. We got more first four games tonight. That's right. We've got the 11 versus 11 game is Miami, Ohio, and SMU. We've also got the 16 versus 16 game before that. That is Prairie View and Lehigh. Shout out to the Mountain Hawks. I chose them randomly one year on a college hoops video game and ran Lehigh in my dynasty mode. I think it was college hoops, like, I want to say I was in high school. 2K3, maybe 2K4. Anyway, shout out to the Mountain Hawks. Prairie View and Lehigh is the early game at 5:40, followed by Miami, Ohio, and SMU. And you'll be able to hear both games right here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW. Will break away for pregame from Westwood One at 5:30. In the meantime, we got 2.5 hours of sports talk today and a whole lot to discuss, including an NCAA tournament preview. You're staring at your bracket. You're wondering how you ought to fill it out. I'm here to help. I got 3 of the Final Four teams right last year. I also correctly predicted the national runner-up. And if that doesn't sound impressive, it was probably better than how you did. So lay off. No, I'm kidding. Anyhow, I also correctly picked the champion 2 years ago. So I've had a pretty good run of at least picking who's going to go deep into the tournament. Now, ask me to identify upsets. Those are a little bit more hit and miss, but that's how it is for everybody. So I will give you my thoughts. I will give you my Final Four. I said earlier in this week, I leaning toward Arizona as my champion pick. Spoiler alert, I have not found any reason to back down from that. But I will give you my Final Four. I will tell you where I would think that each Final Four team might lose if they don't make it to the Final Four, the game that worries me the most in picking that team all the way through to the Final Four. And I'll tell you why, if you're upset hunting in this bracket, look, everybody loves picking upset. Everybody loves to find the 11 or 12 or 13 or 14 seed that they can put through into the Sweet 16 to have that rooting interest on the first weekend. Everybody loves that. It's part of the magic of the NCAA tournament. But I would advise you, if you've got like a dog in the hunt, if you've got money at stake, don't reach for those upsets. I don't think we're going to see a lot of them. I think we're going to get, for the second straight year, a pretty chalky tournament. Now, I don't think that means we're going to get all 4 1 seeds into the tournament again. But I do think you're going to see a lot of brand names, a lot of blue bloods, a lot of high seeds in the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. In fact, I've only got 1 double-digit seed into the Sweet 16, and it feels like one too many. But we're going to get into all of that. I'll give you my picks. I'm curious to hear yours. Drop them in the YouTube chat, 580 Sports Talk. Text the show, 785-272-9429. And don't forget, we've got a 580 Sports Talk bracket challenge for you to join over at ESPN.com. If you go to the ESPN.com tournament challenge page, you've got an ESPN account. You've played the tournament challenge over there. Probably have been in a bunch of other bracket pools that operate using ESPN. That seems to be the most popular one. That's the one we use this year. Search for the group 580 Sports Talk Ball Knowers. 580 Sports Talk Ball Knowers is the name of our tournament challenge group. 1 entry per listener. Jump on in. Join the fun. Join the bracket contest. I can tell you that my bracket is in, Brendan's bracket is in, Spencer's bracket is in, so you're competing against us. And if you win, we'll give you the choice. Either 4 Royals tickets to a home game in 2026 of your choosing, or 4 K-State football tickets to a game of your choosing in 2026. Your choice. You want to go to a ball game or you want to go see football? Up to you. We'll let you pick. You just got to win. Just go win the bracket challenge. 580 Sports Talk Ball Knowers is the name of the group. There's a direct link that will take you there on our Facebook page, WIBW News, on our X account, 580 Sports Talk, on our Blue Sky account, 580 Sports Talk, and there are instructions on the scroll right now on our video stream as well, so you don't forget the name of that group. We invite you to join us. We hope that many of you will. Speaking of the tournament, joining us to preview the NCAA tournament, the best college basketball writer in America. I mean, who better, right? CJ Moore will join the program bottom of this 3 o'clock hour. We're going to chat with CJ about his Final Four picks and the upset he likes the most. We'll get his thoughts on Casey Alexander to K-State, too. We haven't had a chance to talk to CJ since K-State made that hire official. So curious to talk to CJ Moore here in about 20 minutes or so, a little more than 20 minutes. He will join us at the bottom of this 3 o'clock hour. He is our guest today. Additionally, we got some football to get to. It's the return after a 2-week hiatus. Well, I guess just 1 week. We took last week off. And I guess the week before, too, because it was the first day of the new league year. So we had a lot of football to talk about. We got Mock Draft Wednesday back, folks. Mock Draft Wednesday is back. Oh, not the first start of the new league year. We canceled Mock Draft Tuesday 2 weeks ago because that was the day the Chiefs made the McDuffie trade. So we canceled Mock Draft Wednesday. And then last week, we didn't really have a show, so we didn't have Mock Draft Wednesday. Mock Draft Wednesday is back. It's back, baby. It's back with a vengeance. Mock Draft Wednesday, post-free agency edition. I'm going to tell you there's one mock draft that we're going to go through today that I love for the Chiefs. And one mock draft we're going to go through today that I think is dumb as hell for the Chiefs. And I'm looking forward to talking about both of those with you coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, Mock Draft Wednesday, the return of everybody's favorite mock draft segment in the history of 580 Sports Talk, Mock Draft Wednesday. Also to come on the program today, Venezuela wins the World Baseball Classic. They beat the United States in a thrilling game last night, 3-2, which means that Salvador Perez is a world champion again. Michael Garcia is a world champion and an MVP of the World Baseball Classic. Talk about how much fun last night's game was and how it has come to be that an event that I think most people probably looked at as not really all that meaningful, maybe a bit of an annoyance or a hindrance towards preparing for a new season, has all of a sudden acquired over the last couple of events the juice, as they say. The World Baseball Classic rocks. And the reason it rocks is there are teams like Venezuela are a part of it and succeeding, and last night winning the whole thing in front of a sellout crowd in Miami. It was electric. Just a really cool baseball game. And a cool moment for Salvador Perez for reasons that you might have forgotten about. We're going to get into that a little bit later on in today's show. We still got headlines. We still got what is wrong with you. We'll do a little either or over under. All our typical Wednesday. I guess Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. We're going to do one gotta go at some point today as well. So we got those Wednesday shenanigans coming your way here on the program. Plus your text 785-272-9429, 785-272-9429. Can also interact in the live chat on our YouTube stream. 580 Sports Talk is the name of the channel. Go subscribe. Hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel if you have not yet done so. And hop in the live chat. Say hello. Grow the 580 Sports Talk community. I think Vance and Andrew and Mark in early on today. 4B Swinford is in. Good to see you. We got our friend from Overbrook is in today. Great weather in Overbrook, it sounds like. Glad to hear. Appreciate everybody who is in the chat today and look forward. Tyler hopping in as well. And we look forward to hearing from more of you on the program today. Tyler in with the hottest take of the day so far, blaming the pitchers on Team USA for last night's loss. And Team USA got 3 hits. What were the pitchers supposed to do? Team USA got 3 freaking hits, 2 of them by one guy. Only like 4 guys hit the ball to the outfield. You're blaming the pitchers. You're barking up the wrong tree. That was a lineup full of guys with sticks up their backsides. And that was the theme of the tournament. Bunch of dour and joyless American players losing to a team in the end that was having a lot more fun than they were. I do not blame the pitchers last night. Maybe Garrett Whitlock for walking Luis Ariz in the leadoff spot in the ninth. What does Denny Matthews always say? Leadoff walk, late innings, close game. That's not a very good Denny Matthews. I need to hear him again to lock my Denny Matthews back in. Anyhow, thanks for being with us here on the program. Andrew says Team USA got postseason Aaron Judge. Yeah, man, big game Aaron Judge showing up again. Big game Aaron Judge. He and Kyle Schwarber, I thought, had a really nice tribute to that SEAL Team 6 guy they invited into the clubhouse a week ago. They had a really nice tribute to SEAL Team 6 because they both combined for 6 strikeouts. Anyway, we'll have more to say about the World Baseball Classic later on in the program. But let's start with the tournament, because now I'm gonna ask CJ. I'm gonna get CJ's opinion on this. CJ Moore is going to join us, our college basketball guy, here in about 20 minutes or so. Does the first 4 count as the start of the tournament, or is this just a contrivance? Give us some hoops to watch for a couple of days, and the tournament really begins on Thursday. Because I feel like the tournament doesn't really get going until it tips off, like right after the end of The Price is Right on Thursday morning. Like that's when the tournament begins, right? Am I wrong? We'll get CJ's opinion on this. So it feels like we're in a holding pattern. We're waiting for the madness to begin. We got a nice appetizer last night. We got 2 really good games last night. Good finishes. Howard defeating UMBC. Texas with the last-minute shot from Tremont Mark defeating North Carolina State, which means I am 0 for 2 picking games in the NCAA tournament. Love that for me. Anyhow, now I'm going to tell you how to pick all the rest of them. Not literally. I'm not going to go down the bracket, tell you how to pick every game. But I am going to give you my final 4. And I'm going to tell you this. It's not real exciting. It's not going to raise any eyebrows. It's pretty chalky. Last year, we had 4 number 1 seeds in the Final 4. I would not be shocked if that happens again. I really wouldn't. What's happened in college basketball, and you all know this, is that the talent has filtered towards the top echelon of college basketball. The transfer portal has allowed the best programs in the country to have more high-level talent. Maybe not all the best players are on one team. I don't think we have a college basketball super team out there. But the best teams in the power conferences have more depth and more star power, and you just don't see as much of that. Even further down the list of the power conference, the bubble teams. Like the bubble was terrible this year. Trust me. If the committee could have found a way to keep Miami, Ohio out of the tournament, they would have. They would have loved to have put Auburn in there instead. Auburn won 17 games. They couldn't justify it. The middle of the bubble, the Oklahomas, all the teams that missed the cut, they all stunk. So the talent level is filtering upwards, which means that when you watch like the best teams play each other, like the last 3 or so weeks of the Big 12 schedule, it was heater after heater after heater every single night with those highly ranked Big 12 teams playing each other because all those teams are really freaking good. But that talent being there means that talent's not hanging around in the Missouri Valley or the MAC or the Summit League or the Southland or whatever mid-major conference you want to name. And so that means your upset chances are less likely. Doesn't mean they won't happen, can't happen. That's the beauty of playing the games after all. I mean, the talent disparity between Fairleigh Dickinson and Purdue 3 years ago was enormous, and Fairleigh Dickinson won that game. So that's why they play him, and that's why we keep coming back to the tournament. But the smart money is on the best teams. And that's always been the case, but I think it's even more so the case here in recent years, and I think it is the case again this year. I have 3 number 1 seeds in my Final 4. One of them is Arizona, and they're my championship pick. I subscribe to CJ Moore's theory. Start with your champ and work your way back. My champ is Arizona. I love Arizona's size. I love their physicality. I love their depth. I love the way they defend. I love the way they make it hard for you to score on the interior. I love their ability to get high percentage offense and not live and die by the three-pointer. I think that's really important for a lack of variance in results come March. I think the fact that they play in the Big 12 means they're more tournament tested than they were back in the Pac-12 days when they'd win a bunch of games, they get a high seed, and then like Princeton would beat them. I'm still bitter about me picking them to win the title in 2023, and they lost to freaking Princeton in the first round. And I'm watching that in the media room at the Wells Fargo Center in Des Moines because I was there with Brendan. We were covering KU, and I just wanted to throw a bucket of popcorn at the television. I was so irate. It was such a soft performance by that Arizona team. I don't think this Arizona team is soft. I think they're all dog. I think they've got it in them, and I think they're going to win the championship. My other Final Four teams, I have Duke. I have Duke out of the East region. Yes, there is some legitimate injury concern with Duke. Caleb Foster may miss the whole tournament. Patrick Gungba is not going to play, at least in the tournament opener. They shouldn't need him to beat Siena. But I think they have enough star power and size to overcome it in a bracket that I don't really think should scare them. I think they're better than Kansas. I think they're better than St. John's. I don't think UConn as a 2 seed is actually that good. Michigan State is the 3 seed. Kind of think they're fake too. Tom Izzo's March bona fides have been overrated for years. I don't see a team that can beat Duke, even a shorthanded Duke, in that bracket. I don't see a team that's likely to do it. So I got Duke in the Final Four. I got Michigan. They're my third 1 seed in the Final Four. Been saying it for weeks. Arizona, Michigan, and Duke, and then everybody else. So I'd be some kind of hypocrite if I didn't put all 3 of those into the Final Four. I think Michigan is simply too big for anybody else in their bracket between Ademara and Yaxel Lendeborg. They're not as deep as they were. They've got an injury issue. Their backup point guard, L.J. Kaysen, being hurt means they're really relying on Elliot Cadeau, which he's a little bit trick-or-treat as a shooter especially. But I just think they're too talented. Dusty May's gone to the Final Four with Florida Atlantic. I think he can get Michigan to the Final Four. My only non-1 seed in the Final Four is Illinois. Because I just don't think it can all be ones again. Can it? I'll go with the Illini. They're the 3 seed in that bracket. They're capable of scoring and playmaking on a high level. I'll go with them over a flawed Houston team in the Sweet 16. I think they can outshoot Houston. And I think they'll beat a Florida team that, I mean, they come in as the defending champs. I still can't believe they won the whole thing last year. I cannot believe that team won it. It was right there for Houston. You know what else was right there for me? A lot of money, because I would have won one of my bracket pools if Houston had just held on at the end. I'm still mad. Still mad. Anyway, I like Illinois in that bracket. I like Keaton Wagler and company in that bracket. I know that Brad Underwood and the Illini haven't had a great deal of success in March, but narratives are made to be broken, right? So I'll go with the Illini in that bracket. And then I'm going with Illinois over Duke in one of the semifinals. That's me hedging a little bit. A healthy Duke, I would probably have picked to win it all. I think I would have picked them over Arizona. If I knew Caleb Foster and Patrick Gongba were going to be factors in this tournament, I might have picked Duke to win the whole thing. I really might have. But I don't know. And those injury concerns are real. So I'm hedging a bit on Duke, but I'm not hedging until the national semifinal. And I have Illinois beating them. And then I have Arizona beating Michigan in what would be an instant classic and beating Illinois in the championship game. But if there's anywhere I'm going to be wrong, if my final 4 picks lose early, I'll be real honest with you. I don't see it for Michigan at all. I think Michigan's bracket is just there for the picking for the Wolverines. I do not think that they will lose early. I think they will make the Final Four. I'm pretty confident in Arizona, too. My only concern is Wisconsin, who's been scoring the ball at a crazy high level. If they get through Arkansas in the round of 32, they could make like 15 threes. And if they get Arizona in a game like that. Arizona's just not that kind of shooting team. They don't shoot a lot of threes. They shoot like among the fewest threes of any team into all of Division One. So the only concern for Arizona is, could they get threed to death? And the only team that could do that in their bracket is Wisconsin, but I'm not even 100% sure Wisconsin's going to beat Arkansas. So I'm fairly confident in Arizona. Duke, again, if not healthy, I still think they probably handle their opening weekend. I still think they could beat Kansas or St. John's. Michigan State or UConn in the Elite Eights could test Duke's lack of depth if Duke is not healthy. But if Duke gets Ngangba back, I don't think they're going to lose early either. Illinois, the game I'm most worried about for them is Florida in the Elite Eight. I think they match up pretty well with Houston. I think they can beat Houston. I think they can outscore Houston. But Florida's got those tournament bona fides, that tournament toughness that Illinois hasn't established, and that could be a factor in a game like that. But I feel pretty good about my Final Four. And now I want to hear yours. 785-272-9429 on the text line. Drop it in the YouTube live chat, 580 Sports Talk. We'll take our first time out on the show. We'll talk upsets when we come back, because I don't think there are going to be a lot of them. We won't need a lot of time to go through them. That's coming up. Plus, Mock Draft Wednesday. Plus, CJ Moore in about 10 minutes or so. Plus, World Baseball Classic. Sports headlines. What is wrong with you? We got a great show for you on this Wednesday. We're really glad you're along on 580 Sports Talk. 3:32 on 580 Sports Talk. We're just getting started on this Wednesday afternoon. Thanks so much for being here. Gave you my final four. Arizona, Duke, Michigan, and Illinois, I think, are headed to Indianapolis. Check in on the wisdom of crowds. What do you guys think? Text line 785-272-9429. Text from 785 says Duke, Arizona, Michigan, and Houston. They're the 2 seed in that. Is that the South? I never get the names of the brackets right by the end of it. I never end up getting the region names correct. I know Duke's in the East, Arizona's in the West. That is the South. So yeah, Houston's the 2 in the South. I'd love to see it for Houston. I'm a big fan of Kelvin Sampson. I'd love to see them get a shot at redemption after they gacked away the title game last year. I just don't think they're quite as good as they were last year. A little bit more susceptible. I have them going down to Illinois in the Sweet 16. Tyler in the YouTube chat says Arizona, Iowa State, Houston, and KU going with an all Big 12 Final Four, which I can respect. Andrew's going with Arizona, Illinois, Michigan State, and Iowa State. So that's 2 for Iowa State. So my concern with Iowa State, they haven't been great in the tournament under Otzelberger. And the concern I seem to have with them is that the way they play, they always go through a little bit of a lull in February, right? Like their style of play demands a lot of energy and a lot of exertion from their guys. And I think that's why they typically have that little fade in the month of February. And then it seems like they always rally in March at Hilton South and they win the conference tournament or they go deep in the conference tournament. Well, that didn't happen for them like it typically does this year. Maybe they've got a little bit more gas in the tank. But I have them in not Virginia beating them. I might have Virginia beating them. But I don't see them getting past Michigan. I don't think they're big enough to hang with Michigan. I don't think they can score on Michigan unless they can make 23s and Momcilovic could do that all by himself. But Iowa State is the 2 seed in that Midwest region. So as far as Cinderellas go, again, don't look too hard for them this year because I think it's going to be a pretty chalky Sweet 16, pretty chalky Elite 8. I don't have any seed lower than a 3 in a regional final. So I don't have any fun Cinderellas in the Elite 8 to give you. The only double-digit seed I think will reach the Sweet 16 is Texas. I think Texas will beat BYU. I think that BYU team, as good as A.J. DeBonta is, and he's been incredible, I don't think that BYU team is particularly good without Richie Saunders. I think they are gettable. I think Texas can get them. And I think Texas can beat Gonzaga because Gonzaga's fake good. Gonzaga lost to Portland. This is an even faker Gonzaga team than most of the Gonzaga teams that we've seen over the years. So I don't trust Gonzaga. I got Texas into the Sweet 16, bottom half of that West region. But that's it as far as double-digit seeds into the Sweet 16. First-round upsets I like, and the tournament defines upset by 5 or more seeds lower than the team you beat. So Texas over BYU is an upset. Santa Clara over Kentucky, not considered an upset. I think that will happen, but not considered an upset. UCF over UCLA, not considered an upset because that's another 10 over 7. But I also think that's going to happen. No, my big upsets, I got 3 teams that we're keeping an eye on for upsets. Number 11, VCU against North Carolina. Carolina's best player is hurt. He'll miss the whole tournament. I don't think Hubert Davis is like an awesome game coach. I think VCU has those tournament bona fides. So I'll take VCU in an 11 over 6. I'll take South Florida in an 11 over 6 in the East over Louisville. Louisville's best player, Michael Brown, their star freshman, he's not going to play. He's already been ruled out. So Louisville only a 4.5-point favorite in that one, last check. So I like South Florida in that one. And then generally, I don't have a lot of rules for picking games, but I do have this rule. If there's a team whose second leading scorer gets popped for felony marijuana possession 4 days before the start of the tournament, I'm going to pick their team to lose. So I've got Hofstra over Alabama on Friday. That's the 4:13 game in the Midwest. I've got Hofstra winning that game. I know a lot of people have Akron over Texas Tech because Tech is without JT Toppin and Christian Anderson hurt his groin on that stupid glass court in the Big 12 tournament. And look, if Anderson isn't right, you'll be able to tell right away if he's like not 100%. Then, yeah, I think Texas Tech is in a lot of trouble. But I have too much respect for Grant McCasland as a coach, for the toughness that program showed, getting some of the wins they got right after Toppin's injury. I've got too much respect for Tech to have them going out that easy. I think they'll beat Akron. I think they'll reach Sweet 16 because I think they'll beat Hofstra. But I don't have anything lower than that. And Hofstra is kind of I don't know how I feel about a team who just had 15 points a game get pulled over for, I guess it wasn't quite enough for a felony charge. So the felony charge on Aiden Holloway is out, but he's not going to play. And I think they're going to miss him. We'll take a timeout here on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, CJ Moore from The Athletic will talk some more tourney with us here on 580 WIBW. We are joined on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline by college basketball writer for The Athletic, CJ Moore, joining us to help preview the upcoming NCAA tournament. CJ, of course, writes for The Athletic. He's the best college basketball writer in America and joins us again on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. CJ, I do want to start asking a question about the feature that came out today at The Athletic about Darren Peterson. You had a chance to talk to him a little bit, had a chance to talk to Bill Self a little bit about the ordeal that he went through with regards to the cramping issues he had earlier this season. Do you get the sense in talking to him, talking to Bill Self, that the anticipation is that we could finally see something close to the Darren Peterson we were hoping to see for the Jayhawks throughout the season, that his body, his preparedness is maybe as close as it has been to ideal for Peterson and the Jayhawks as the tournament gets underway?
Possibly. I think what he needs is time. I think ideally, the tournament would be a month away, and he would have another month of being able to finish games and, them kind of figuring out how to play together. But it's here. Them probably losing on Friday might not have been the worst thing in the world. So just to give them another day to prep, another day for his body to rest. I've thought the last couple of weeks, or the last couple of games, particularly the K-State and TCU game, I thought he looked a little bit better. I think him getting in really good shape has been important to just be able to play the way he needs to play. But I'm still not sure the explosion and, going back and watching some of his high school film, it's just different than what you see now.
Let's start then with a look at the tournament, with a look at Kansas. They're the number 4 seed in that East region, and it's a tough draw in the sense that they got the tournament's number 1 overall seed in Duke as their 1 seed in a possible Sweet 16 matchup. But the teams they could play on their road to even that matchup, Cal Baptist is big. St. John's is really big. Duke, if they don't have Patrick Gongba, maybe aren't as big, but they're still big. Kansas has struggled with that kind of size at times this season. What are the Jayhawks going to have to do, and what is most important for them if they're going to put together a run in March? Is it as simple as Darren Peterson has to be great and the rest follows, or is there something that they're going to have to be really, really strong at if they want to make a run to the second weekend where they haven't been since they won the title in 2022?
Yeah, I think that they need to just figure out a way to get stops. Keep the ball in front of them, rebound, get stops, create some turnovers. They're a really good transition team. They've been good lately in transition. Where they struggle is in the half court, and that's where Darren Peterson is really going to have to come through and I think kind of carry them if they want to have a chance to get to the second weekend and beyond. But I think it all starts with their defense. When they get stops, when they're playing really, really well on the defensive end and they can kind of get out and run, they're pretty dangerous when they can get out and run. I was sitting next to Kellen Sampson, who was scouting for their when they were playing TCU, scouting for the next game, and he was just marveling at kind of what they can do in transition and knew that was so important to keep them out of transition when they played them, and that's what they were able to do, and that's why the game got tilted in Houston's favor. So I think the main thing is just playing really, really well on the defensive end and hope that your offense will come through because of that.
CJ Moore of The Athletic is our guest here on 580 Sports Talk, helping us preview the upcoming NCAA tournament. I guess not upcoming. We had 2 games last night. We got 2 more tonight. And then,
it's upcoming. Yeah. We're waiting for the 64.
No, that's fair. That's entirely fair. The upcoming NCAA tournament. CJ, you've picked Michigan to win it all. You have been very consistent in your belief that has been the best team in the country. Had a little slip there in the Big Ten championship game against Purdue, but 31-3 going into the NCAA tournament. They're your pick to win them all, to win it all. What is it about this Michigan team that you think gives them that edge, that puts them a cut above the rest of the country and makes them your champion pick?
It's a size. It's a front court. It's Yaxel Lindenborg, I think, is maybe the best wing in college basketball. Adai Mara is probably one of the best rim protectors. He's a difference maker up front for them. There's just not many teams that have anybody like him. The guard plays solid. I think Roddy Gales played better the last month or so. My one concern is not having LJ Kaysen and not having a backup point guard. And he was kind of their a nice weapon off the bench for them. Could really give their bench some life sometimes. And, I almost decided to switch and go to Arizona because I think Arizona, among the top three teams that have been the class of college basketball, Duke, Michigan, Arizona's the one that's not dealing with any health stuff right now. So I contemplated changing to Arizona, but hey, I picked it in the preseason. I thought I got to stick with this. So I'm going with Michigan, but my 1B selection would probably be Arizona.
I'll get back to Arizona in a second. I did want to ask about Duke because you mentioned health concerns, and Duke's obviously down some important pieces as the tournament approaches. How big a concern is that for Duke? How can they overcome those injury woes? You still have them as a Final Four team. What's the path for them to get there, even if, say, Patrick Gongbe isn't a factor in the tournament?
I think he will eventually be a factor, and that's going to be important. Like, if he's not, then I think they're probably in trouble at some point. I'm not sure they can make a Final Four without him, just because their depth up front, they don't have any without if he's not out there. But I think the Caleb Foster injury is really important, and I think it just makes it so somebody else has to play that maybe isn't quite as good. But defensively, they're still really, really good. Offensively, they still got Cameron Boozer, and I still feel like they share the ball really well. And I think John Shire's done an excellent job running that offense this year. So they still got a chance. But if Patrick and Gog was out, like I am concerned if he were to miss both first weekends.
Regarding Arizona, they have been a team that in past years has disappointed with a high seed. I picked them to win the title in 2023 and watched them lose to Princeton in round one, for instance. Still a little bit stung by that, but they're my championship pick this year. I think that the Big 12 schedule maybe tests them and gets them ready for this time of year. Are you a believer in that? Like, what side do you fall on where you talk about a team that comes out of a big conference? There's a school of thought that says that can wear you down. There's a school of thought that says that prepares you for the tournament. Do you think that Big 12 gauntlet, especially late in the year, has Arizona a little more dialed in for this tournament and what they might face in their region?
I don't know, possibly. I mean, I think it just matters the quality of the team. Like, did the WCC hurt Gonzaga all those years that they made it to the national, the 2 years they made it to the national championship game? No, I don't think so. It's not the reason they lost in the championship game. So I'm not sure if I buy too much into the conference stuff. Like, there are teams that I'm maybe skeptical of, like a UConn, because I think the Big East wasn't that good, and it wasn't like UConn dominated that league. But I wouldn't be shocked either if UConn ends up in a Final Four. So I'm not sure if like the league stuff, the league strength, I feed into too much.
Couple more questions for CJ Moore of The Athletic, joining us here on 580 Sports Talk on this Wednesday afternoon. The only non-number one seed you had in your Final Four prediction was Illinois coming out of their bracket. That's the one where Florida is the number one seed in that region. Mm-hmm. What advantage do you think Illinois has in potential regional semifinals and final games that you believe could make them a Final Four team?
It's probably betting with the heart, not the head on that one, right? Open for Keith Longo to get to the Final Four. But I think the one advantage they have over those other two teams is three-point shooting and the ability to really, really stretch the floor and, try to get to the right kind of matchups for them. And then, they've got Kylan Boswell, who can be their stopper on the perimeter against guys like Kingston Fleming. So I think one of those three teams, Illinois, Florida, or Houston, will end up there. I was tempted to go Florida and have all one seeds again. But I was like, can I really do this 2 years in a row? So I switched it up. I probably should have just picked Florida, but whatever.
All right. Everybody asked this question, so I got to know your answer to this. What was the one seed line upset that you put down on your bracket without any hesitation, or the least amount of hesitation, picking say an 11 or a 12 in the first round? What was the one where you hesitated the least, and what do you like about that low seed?
Oh, man. I mean, I hesitate every single time.
Fair enough.
I think I'll go VCU. I think VCU is a quality team. North Carolina, obviously without Caleb Wilson, isn't at full strength. I'm not a huge believer in the coaching of Hubert Davis, so that might have been the easiest one. But I don't know. That's probably close to a coin flip game. So we'll see.
All right. And then the last thing I want to ask you about, non-tournament related, but we haven't had a chance to chat since Kansas State made their hire of Casey Alexander official as their new men's basketball coach. What do you think he brings to that job? And do you think K-State has hired a coach that is going to get them to, if not perennial dominance of the Big 12, at the very least perennial NCAA tournament consideration?
Yeah, I think he's a really, really, really good offensive coach. It's all going to depend on what kind of players he can get in there and what he can do recruiting wise. But he has a long history of identifying and finding some under the radar guys that have turned into really, really good players. And I think that's what you have to do at a school like K-State. Like, you're not going to compete for the Darren Petersons, the AJ DeBonsas of the world, which I think Tang really, really, really tried to get in there with guys like that, and maybe needed to focus on players that were a little more realistic, your Nigel Packs of the world. So if he can get some, under the radar guys that are better than expected in there and, build his system out, the Rick Byrd Belmont system has won a lot of games. So I thought it was a solid hire for him.
CJ Moore is the best college basketball writer in America. Read his article about Darren Peterson that posted at The Athletic today. Check out his NCAA tournament coverage. He'll be in St. Louis covering some of those games and writing about the tournament at large at The Athletic. He joins us here on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline on 580 Sports Talk. CJ, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Enjoy it. Thanks so much for helping us run down the bracket, my friend.
Thanks, brother. Take care.
That is C.J. Moore. We'll take a timeout, come back, and put a wrap on this 3 o'clock hour of 580 Sports Talk after this. Folks, don't miss the legendary Harlem Globetrotters on their 100-year tour coming Friday, March 20th to the Stormont Vail Events Center. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. That's Friday night. Experience the last trick shots and family fun live. Get your tickets now on the 580 WIBW event page at 580WIBW.com. Go see the Globies if you've never done it before. Take your kids. I went when I was 9, 10. It's at the old McNichols Arena in Denver. Great time. Timeless entertainment, the Harlem Globetrotters. Again, 580WIBW.com to buy your tickets for Friday night's game. And thanks again to CJ Moore for joining us from The Athletic for a little more NCAA tournament talk. Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, It's Mock Draft Wednesday. It's back. I know you missed it. We haven't done Mock Draft Wednesday since February. So Mock Draft Wednesday is back. We got to look at 3 mock drafts, 2 first round and 1 3-round mock. One of them I love. One of them about made me blow a blood vessel. See if you can tell which is which. Also, Team Venezuela wins the World Baseball Classic and strikes a blow for fun in the sport of baseball. Plus, what is wrong with you in the 4 o'clock hour, 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Hour number 2 of 580 Sports Talk on this hump day afternoon on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our video streaming channels. 580 Sports Talk on YouTube, WIBW News on Facebook. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis with you. We're with you until 5:30 tonight. Second night of the first 4 of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. And we will have the coverage once again from Westwood 1, starting with 5:30 pregame. 5:40, we got Prairie View in Lehigh, and then the late game, SMU against Miami, Ohio. Spencer Dupuis, did you watch any of the first 4 last night?
I was actually tuned in for the tip as I was driving home. They had a wedge ball within the first couple of minutes of the
A wedgie, yes.
Yeah. I was like, I love it. Literally, the first couple of minutes of the NCAA tournament of March Madness tipping off, we've got one. And then I tried to listen to Charles Barkley and Dickie V.
I'm glad you got there. Barkley and Vitale together for the first time on a game broadcast.
I see what they were trying to do.
Sure. They thought they were getting Charles Barkley entertainer, Charles Barkley personality,
Not
Charles
complainer.
Barkley guy in the Capital One commercials, not Charles Barkley, I'm going to be on the air and tell you what's wrong with your sport and why it sucks nonstop for the entire first half of the basketball game. And look, even if you concede he's got a point, even if you agree, even if you're in lockstep,
there's a time and place.
Charles Barkley's NIL opinions, like, dude, there's a game happening in front of you. There's a game happening in front of you. You got all the studio time you want to complain. You and Bruce Pearl can bitch all you want about the state of college basketball, and then we'll throw it out to the games where, like, if college basketball is so messed up, why are these gyms all so full? Why are we filling out so many brackets? Why are the TV ratings what they are? If college sports...
Why did we just have the most watched selection show in like 12 years?
Exactly.
If that's the case.
There are some things wrong with how things are being done right now. There are points of frustration that are very real for fans and coaches and even players alike. But to spend an entire broadcast, it was nonstop. Like, was there a game happening at some point? You know who was really happy, though, to be working with those two guys last night? Brian Anderson, because that meant he didn't have to talk so much. And dude was struggling, wasn't he?
He did point at one point, though. He said, guys, we've got a game to talk about here.
Yeah, good for him.
There's a game going on in front of us.
Good for him for trying to rein them in. But
look, I like the idea. I like the salute to the
all-time great, sure.
And then trying to have an entertainment first 4 factor. But no, you should have vetted what was going to be talked about.
But I think Brian Anderson was mostly happy to let him talk because
yes,
my guy was struggling.
At a point in the game, the producer was probably like, you know what, this might be the best case for our play-by-play broadcaster.
Yeah, hope he gets some of that hot tea with honey before he's got to go back on the air. I've been there. We've all been there, yeah. Brian. Every one of us who's done this for a living. We have all been there. We will break away again at 5:30 for tonight's games. We'll have late coverage on Thursday. We're going to bring you the K-State women in the WBIT tomorrow night, 6 o'clock pregame, 6:30 the tip-off from Bramlage Coliseum as K-State takes on Georgia Tech. So we'll have that game, and then following that, we'll join Westwood 1 coverage in progress through the rest of the night, all the way up onto about midnight or so. And then Friday, we'll take coverage at 5 o'clock. So we'll be short on Friday's show. We'll break away at 5, and we'll take coverage the rest of that Friday for the rest of the first round of the NCAA tournament. So we hope you'll enjoy that coverage. Coming up this hour on 580 Sports Talk, we're going to get into the other game that was going on last night, the one that relegated the NCAA tournament, the first 4, to the small screen in the Lucero basement. The Venezuela Team USA World Baseball Classic Final. Venezuela wins the event for the first time ever with a 3-2 victory. Eugenio Suarez, the go-ahead RBI double in the 9th. United States, after winning in 2017, has now lost consecutive championship games. Venezuela again wins the event for the first time ever. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about MVP Michael Garcia and all the rest of the takeaways from the World Baseball Classic. We also got What Is Wrong With You coming up. We got at least one story on What Is Wrong With You coming up. Spencer's got to find one here.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, you got it, man. We also have sports headlines still to come on the show before we shut things down at 5:30 today. We want to hear from you. 785-272-9429 is the number. 785-272-9429. Also, can interact with us on the live chat on our YouTube stream. 580 Sports Talk is the name of the channel. Go check it out if you've never done so. Hop on into that live chat. We are streaming live when we broadcast live on the radio. So if you can hear us on the radio, you can see us on YouTube. 580 Sports Talk is the name of the channel. Go subscribe if you have not yet and join that chat. Say hello to your fellow listeners and your hosts. Interact with us. Drive the conversation throughout the show on that live chat and via the text line, 785-272-9429. Texter points out that Barkley and Vitale did do a game earlier this year together. It was their first NCAA tournament game together. And Vitale's first tournament game in, boy, a long time. I think he did some when ESPN had the broadcast rights back in the early 80s, if I'm remembering correctly, and I may not be because I wasn't alive. But yeah, first time they'd worked a tournament game together. It should have been more specific. Thanks for keeping us honest. We appreciate the text line 785-272-9429. Sometimes the text line and the YouTube chat, sometimes they stat boy us. At the end of PTI, that you get to his Tony Reale. You get the stat boy in with like, yeah, you said this, but it was actually this, and this is actually the correct number. And every now and again, we need Stat Boy. And sometimes y'all play that role for us. And we do appreciate it, genuinely. We appreciate the interaction on the text line and in the live chat on YouTube. Spencer, how excited are you for the return of Mock Draft Wednesday on the program?
So excited.
We haven't done it in a long time. Last week, obviously, we only had about a 30-minute Wednesday show before state basketball quarterfinal coverage. The Wednesday before, Mock Draft Wednesday got blown up by the Trent McDuffie trade. So every mock draft we would have had to look at would have been moot because the Chiefs all of a sudden had an additional first-round draft choice. So we have not done Mock Draft Wednesday in a while. But we are back today with another round of Mock Draft Wednesday. And it's a great time to check in on the state of the mock drafts because we're a week into the new league year and free agency business has gotten done across the league. I think we've probably seen the last of Jeremiah Love to the Chiefs at number 9 in a mock draft. I do not think that is happening. I do not think that is happening. As much as the Chiefs invested in Kenneth Walker, the Chiefs would not then turn around and invest in a second running back. That's just not what a smart organization would do, and I think the Chiefs are a smart organization. So we have seen the last of the Jeremiah Love to the Chiefs mock drafts. We're going to look at 3 of them today. One of them I love. One of them I hate. And one of them I'm kind of ambivalent on. Where do you want to start? We start with the one I love, the one I hate, or the one I'm on? Where do you want to start?
Ironically, the one you love, since love isn't going to be
okay.
You get it? You get what I'm doing there?
Yeah, let's start with the one I love because what I love the first round. This is the new Pro Football Focus 3-round mock that came out yesterday, and I love the first round of this. And beyond that, I have some questions. But if the Chiefs came out of day one of the draft with 2 starting caliber defensive linemen, I think that would be huge. Pro Football Focus's latest 3-round mock draft have the Chiefs at number 9, selecting David Bailey, the edge out of Texas Tech, and at number 29, selecting Peter Woods, the interior defensive lineman out of Clemson. I'll start with Bailey. He's all over the place on a lot of these mock drafts. Mel Kiper, who we'll get to in a second, he has Bailey going number 2 to the Jets. Like, that's the ceiling for Bailey. And it kind of feels like 9 or maybe even 10 might be his floor. And this is one of those, maybe not as much as Reuben Bain, because with Bain, you've got like the genuine concerns about, okay, this would be a real outlier for somebody built like this to be successful at this position in the NFL. It'd be a genuine first case scenario given Bain's lack of arm length. You don't have that kind of worry with Bailey, but this is still a, hey man, watch the tape. Like the justification for David Bailey is you go watch that tape. Who could keep him out of the backfield in the Big 12? Nobody, not a soul. He was the best player defensively in the Big 12 in 2025, certainly the best edge rusher in the Big 12. And if he's there at number 9, that would be the kind of edge rusher that the Chiefs simply do not and have not had the ability to add to their roster. A blue chip edge. I'm of the mind that there's just no way that Brett Veach passes that up. No matter who else is on the board, the opportunity to get a blue chip edge rusher like Bailey or Bain, I do not think Brett Veach would pass up because of the understanding that this might be the only chance to get a blue chip talent at that position. Typically, you don't get to draft those guys when you pick 28 through 32. Typically, you don't get a chance to sign those guys when the Chiefs cap situation has been what it has been. You've got a chance to get a potentially high-performing, high-production, day one starter, day one double-digit sack guy at edge. I don't think the Chiefs can pass that up. And Bailey, in some ways, feels safer than Bain, just given the questions about Bain physically. So if Bailey's there at 9, it's a walk, don't run to the podium for me. At 29, Peter Woods. This is one of those where the numbers, the production maybe weren't what you would expect given the pedigree, the prospect pedigree, given the size, given the tools, given the hype. If Peter Woods didn't produce, like if Woods had produced up to his hype entering last season, he would probably be a top 10 pick. And there are going to be some mock drafts that have him on the fringes of the top 10. If you could get him at 29, and then all of a sudden you can rotate a player like that with Chris Jones and Omar Norman Lott and Kyrus Tonga, and then you've got Bailey and Karlaftis coming off the edge. You got a stew going all of a sudden. You got some real athleticism. You got some juice. You got some energy back in that position, back on that defensive line. I love the thought of addressing D-line twice in the first round because Woods is a guy, again, if he's going to fall, it's because the production wasn't there. And that, again, genuine concern. But I'm a lot happier taking that player at 29 than I would be at 9 or even in the early teens, even trading back to get a player like that in the early teens. A player with those physical tools at 29, you say, look, we'll teach him how to get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
Physically, this guy is off the charts. We'll teach him how to go get the quarterback. He'll learn under Chris Jones. He'll be more motivated in our system, in our building. I'll take that chance at number 29 overall, Peter Woods. I love that possibility of a first round for the Kansas City Chiefs. The rest of Pro Football Focus 3-round mock draft. At number 40 overall, Max Ianachor, tackle, Arizona State. I'm going to put a pin in that real quick. And then at 74 overall, the third-round pick for the Chiefs, Pro Football Focus has them taking Indiana wide receiver Elijah Surratt. Now, I watched enough Indiana football that I feel like I'd be happy with any of their wide receivers. all those dudes can play. But I do think, and a lot of the draft nicks are starting to kind of lean in this direction, that there's a big difference between a big drop. Let's describe it this way. A big drop from the top 3 wide receivers in this draft. Carnell Tate out of Ohio State, Mekhi Lemon out of USC, Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. There's those 3, and then there's a huge gap. And then there's every other wide receiver in the draft. And if that's true, and the Chiefs don't go wide receiver early, I'm okay with them waiting until the middle rounds, which is kind of typically where they found wide receivers anyway, to address that need. I do think they need to come away from the draft with a wide receiver.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that the guys that would be available to them at 40 or even 29 are going to be the kind of value add that a Peter Woods would be at number 29. So I'm okay with them waiting to address that wide receiver position. I really love the first round of that draft. I like a lot of that from Pro Football Focus. All right, we'll do the one in the middle. We'll do the one I'm half in, half out on. It's our guy, Mel Kiper. It's everybody's guy, Mel Kiper. It's the guy. Mel Kiper's mock draft. I mentioned Mel Kiper had David Bailey going number 2 to the Jets. Where does he have Ruben Bain going? Number 9 to the Chiefs. And again, it goes back to my point. Understanding positional value is really important in this draft for the Chiefs because they have it their way. This is the highest draft pick they're going to have for the rest of Patrick Mahomes' career, right? Certainly the rest of Patrick Mahomes' prime. So they have to use it to go get somebody at a position where they might not otherwise have a chance to get an immediate upper-level impact player. And what position do you usually find? What positions do you usually strictly find those blue chippers at the top of the draft? Edge is absolutely one of them. The other ones are probably quarterback, and I think you can make a case for wide receiver, certainly left tackle. Chiefs are set at left tackle. Chiefs could use a wide receiver. That's certainly part of the thought process here, too. But Mel Kiper's got him going with Ruben Bain. And again, I understand that he's got little baby T-Rex arms. Watch the tape. Watch the tape. He's the best player in the national championship game. Watch the tape. Him or Bailey, I think you're doing backflips if you're Steve Spagnuolo, if you can add one of those two guys to your roster with the number 9 pick. Kiper at 29 has the Chiefs selecting South Carolina defensive back Brandon Cisse. Now, you tell me if this sounds familiar. South Carolina defensive back, all the tools in the world. The question is, can you teach him how to play the game? Can you teach him? Can you develop their football IQ? Can you bring them along as a player who's going to play within scheme, within structure? Does that sound a lot like the rookie who helped transform the world champion Seahawks defense last year? Because it should. Not the exact same kind of like physical specimen, just build-wise, but Brandon Cisse and Nicky Manwari have some similarities. It's not just the fact that they both went to South Carolina. The thought behind Cisse is, okay, he's a lump of clay, but athletically, he might be the best of those defensive backs in this draft, including Mansour Delane, who everybody has going in or near the top 10, or Jermod McCoy, who's coming off of that ACL, but would be a top 10 pick, I think a consensus top 10 if he had not done that. Better athlete than Avion Terrell, better athlete than Colton Hood. Like, the athleticism is undeniable with Cisse. The question is, can you trust him to not make mistakes? Can you trust him to play in structure? Can you teach him your system? If there's a team that would look at their defensive brain trust and their secondary coach and say, yeah, I think we can turn this lump of clay into something really special, it would definitely be the Chiefs. So I could understand if the Chiefs wanted to take that flyer at 29. I just don't think, again, positional value, right? I think that the Chiefs proved with how they approach this offseason that they trust how they can evaluate defensive backs in the draft and that it does not need to be a first round or even a high second round priority for them. So while it would not be like earth shattering if the Chiefs went defensive back at 9, 29, or 40, I don't think it's a coin flip's chance. I think it's probably like 25, 75 yes, that they would do something like that. So I'm less certain about the idea that they would go DB with one of those first 3 picks. I could see them doing it. There are guys I like. There are guys I could get excited about the Chiefs having, but it just wouldn't feel like a very Chiefs pick. All right, let's do the one I hate. Daniel Jeremiah, NFL.com. Remember I said put a pin in the Chiefs' second-round pick in that 3-round mock Pro Football Focus did? They had them going Arizona State tackle, Maxey and Acho in that spot. Daniel Jeremiah. And context will be important here. So in the context of this mock draft, Jeremiah Love is off the board at 4. Carnell Tate is off the board at 6. Reuben Bain is off the board at 7. David Bailey is off the board at number 8. Those would be like the 4 guys that you would most likely to see the Chiefs mocked to at number 9, would most like to see them add. Maybe Caleb Downs. He's on the board at 9 in this draft.
Yeah.
But like those are the guys, right? Bailey, Bain, Tate. We're starting to see a lot more of that than we are starting to see at Jeremiah Love. So those guys all off the board. Daniel Jeremiah has the Chiefs at number 9, selecting Utah tackle Spencer Fano.
Another first-round pick on a lineman?
Not just a lineman. A right tackle who, Jeremiah writes, could kick inside to guard if necessary. I don't know how to make people understand this that seem unwilling to understand this. Jalen Moore is going to make $15 million in 2026. He is not making that money to sit the bench.
Yep.
What are we doing here? Now, part of me thinks, okay, there's enough NFL insidery types out there talking about the possibility of the Chiefs taking a tackle that maybe we ought to listen to it. They're invested in Josh Simmons. That was a first-round pick, and he looks like the real deal at left tackle. Kingsley Suamataia was borderline good as a first-time starter at left guard last year with a chance to get better. They have the best center in the NFL and the best right guard in the NFL. And right tackle, Jalen Moore made $15 million against the cap this year. They are not paying him that money to be a swing tackle for 2 years. They had a plan in place when they gave him that money, and the plan looked like year 1, learn the system, be our left tackle insurance policy, and you'll be our swing guy. And then when we cut Juwan Taylor, which everybody in the world knows we're going to do after his 3rd year of his deal, you're going to be the right tackle, and then we're going to find out if you're any good. And then we'll decide what to do there. Using the number 9 pick on a guy you might kick inside to guard, that would be so anti-A, what the Chiefs do in the draft, and B, what the Chiefs have already invested in the offensive line.
Yeah, their blueprint. It's anti their blueprint.
I would faint dead away if the Chiefs use number 9 on an offensive tackle. Particularly, like, it'd be one thing if you were talking about a guy who, oh, yeah, this is a no doubt about it right tackle. This is a franchise right tackle. And it's like, okay, you want to sell me on, we're going to draft our bookends to Mahomes and have those guys back-to-back years. We're going to have those guys for the next decade. If you wanted to tell me that, okay, fine. But they're talking about Fano as a guard.
But Dan, the Chiefs will have excellent information on him because of Andy Reid's relationship with former Utah head coach and former BYU teammate of Andy Reid's, Kyle Whittingham.
I bet they will.
That's their reasoning.
It's not happening. And look, here's the other part of this too, is I sat here at this microphone, and we talked to Matt Verderame every Monday for the last couple of years on this show. And going through the draft process last year, Matt Verderame swore up and down, Chiefs aren't taking a tackle. Chiefs aren't drafting a tackle. They're not taking a tackle first round. And they took a tackle in the first round. And that worked out pretty well for them. So maybe we got deja vu here, but I just can't see it. I just can't see it. Not with Caleb Downs still on the board, not with Mekhi Lemon or Jordan Tyson still on the board. Just more pressing needs for the Chiefs in the immediate term. If the idea for the Chiefs is, hey, we're going to get back to winning in 2026. We intend to win the Super Bowl in 2026. And that should be the Chiefs' attitude. You take a guy who might long-term be a guard and park $15 million against the cap on the pine as your number 3 swing tackle? No way in hell. No way in hell. It's not happening. Jeremiah's pick at number 29 is a cornerback, Colton Hood, who Jeremiah writes is one of the most complete cornerbacks in the draft. In his mock, Hood is one of the top corners taken in the draft. He's the third corner taken after Delane and McCoy. So that means Cisse still on the board, Avion Terrell still on the board, and I like both of those guys better than I like Colton Hood. That's my personal preference, but that's how I see it. And again, like I said, I just don't think the Chiefs are going to take a corner top 40. I don't think that would be a not very Chiefs thing to do, to take a cornerback that high, even if you could talk me into Terrell in particular. We'll take a time out here on 580 Sports Talk. This concludes Mock Draft Wednesday. Maybe we'll get some that make a little more sense next week.
Hopefully.
When we come back, it's What Is Wrong With You on 580 WIBW. time for What Is Wrong With You here on 580 Sports Talk. We got two new stories today competing against our current champ, Thou Shalt Steal a Ton of Baseball Cards. The very Reverend Aiden Smith from the Trinity Episcopal Church in Pittsburgh, 5 days in a row, caught on camera in 4K, walking out of Walmart with boxes of baseball cards, value of which was up around $1,100. He was already on administrative leave from the church. Now he's in even more trouble with the church, not to mention with his God. Two new stories today. Spencer, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, we're going to go to Flagler County, Florida. A Flagler County man was caught driving backward last week along State Route 100, prompting an unusual encounter with law enforcement. In a release, deputies said that the incident happened on March 13th when several callers reported seeing a silver sedan driving in reverse on the highway's eastbound lanes. Deputies added that they tracked the car to a Panda Express parking lot and pulled it over near the airport road after it, quote, spun right round. The driver, William Murphy III, 47 of Palm Coast, said the car had a mechanical issue, and he thought the best option was to drive it backward to AutoZone. The release reads, except his mechanical issues evaporated when deputies got behind him. Body cam footage showed the sheriff's office shows Murphy claiming that the car was stuck in reverse and that he didn't see it as a criminal issue. So, yeah.
What's the big deal, man?
What's the big deal?
I didn't wreck, did I?
Come to find out, he has suspended license. So he is ultimately arrested and now faces charges of habitual driving with a suspended license.
Not just driving with a suspended license, habitual driving with a suspended license.
He's been caught 10 times.
Think of that line from Chappelle's show, the true stories of Charlie Murphy, talking about Rick James. He's a habitual line stepper. That's really funny. He's like, yeah, what's the big deal, man? I ain't hit anybody. I just driving backwards. I'm sure it's been tempting, like a time or two in your life, to be like, I wonder how good I could drive in reverse. But it's not a good idea. And generally, most of us talk ourselves out of it before we do it.
Yeah.
Not this guy. That's pretty good. All right, for my story today, we go to Chesterfield County, South Carolina. And what started as a bond hearing for one inmate quickly led to him staying in jail and facing new charges. How'd he screw up that bad? Let me tell you. The incident happened Monday at the Chesterfield County Detention Center. 33-year-old Patrick Alexander of Mississippi had just been granted a $250 bond on a trespassing charge. After receiving his personal belongings, Alexander reportedly pulled out a wad of cash, sorted through it, and handed the judge three $100 bills, totaling $300, and told the judge to keep the change. First of all, not really how bond works. Second of all, if you're going to do that, you should probably make sure the money you give the judge is real money. The judge noticed something was off and stated that he could not keep the change. Authorities say the bills appeared to have an unusual color. When the judge looked closer, he reportedly saw Chinese writing on the back of the cash. Like, come on. You're not even trying. It's not even like the money that looks really good, except it says for cinema use only there and like really fine print. You really got to be looking. You got a whole different language on this fake money. The detention officer then used a counterfeit detection pen, which indicated the bills were fake. Yeah, I could have done that faster. As soon as I saw the Chinese writing, I would have known they were fake. Alexander was informed the money was counterfeit. The judge instructed that the cash be held as evidence. Alexander now faces an additional charge of forgery related to counterfeit money. A warrant was obtained and served while he remained in custody at the detention center. Keep the change. I can't do that, sir, because this is funny money. I really like that story. I think that wins today.
Yeah.
I could almost see it beating the priest stealing the baseball cards, because obviously he had a problem. Like, he had been on administrative leave for 2 months when he got the idea of, well, I'm a kleptomaniac now, and I'm just going to steal baseball cards on the daily. This guy counterfeit Chinese money to a judge.
Yeah. I think, yeah, that's
sir. that extra 50's for you for doing such a great job at my bond hearing. That 50, go get yourself something nice. Just, do it where they don't have one of those counterfeit money pens around. I really like that story. Keep the change. That's going to be our new winner for the week here on What Is Wrong With You. When we come back, thrilling World Baseball Classic game last night, and he might have been a secret to Royals fans and observers, but everybody in the world now knows Michael Garcia can play, or Michael Garcia, because that's his actual name. We'll talk about more of the World Baseball Classic next on 580 Sports Talk. .446 on 580 Sports Talk. The World Baseball Classic goes to Team Venezuela. They beat the U.S. 3-2 last night. I even kind of dressed appropriately for the occasion. I told you I had this. I mentioned on the show yesterday that I got this bad boy, this Team Venezuela jersey that I'm holding up to the camera right now. This See, this is 06 World Baseball Classic. This is from the OG World Baseball Classic, the first one. My team Venezuela's year. I bought this at a Marshall's. You got Marshalls out in Virginia? Yeah.
Yes,
it's like a Ross, right?
Yeah.
Where every now and again they got cool stuff on the rack. And this was like $10 the summer after the original World Baseball Classic. And like I was talking about yesterday, a lot of my favorite players in baseball are from Venezuela, which is the country that has turned out, other than the United States and the Dominican Republic, the most major league players.
Yeah.
A lot of my favorite players all time are Venezuelan. And some of them were on this team that won last night. Some of them played in that original World Baseball Classic. I was a big Johan Santana fan. A huge fan of his. Always really liked Miguel Cabrera. I'm wearing a Gerardo Parra Rockies jersey today. He's Venezuela. He was the first base coach for Team Venezuela.
Hey.
So, Baby Shark.
My guy.
Baby Shark. Yeah, the world champion Nats.
I think he get let go.
What's that?
I wonder if he got let go or is he still on staff.
I don't know if he's still on the
he was on
staff.
their last year staff as their first base coach, but I don't know if when they cleaned house.
But so big shout to Team Venezuela, my second favorite baseball playing nation, champions of the World Baseball Classic, and I'm glad that they won because I'm glad that a team that played like they did, with the joy and the passion and the love for each other and the love for the game that was obvious. I like that that's what won. And not the dour, joyless Team USA that looked like they were out there getting a tooth pulled. You got to force guys to play for that team. I'm glad that there's a vision of baseball that I have, the game that I love, the game I love more than any other sport. You guys know this. You listen to the show long enough. You know baseball's my absolute favorite sport. My absolute favorite sport. And the way that I love the game is that you play it with that heart on your sleeve. You play it with joy. You play it with verve and heart because it's a kid's game. And you bring that joy and that love to the field every day. And it doesn't have to be this ultra serious, like, I don't know that anybody on Team USA had a lick of fun. And not just because they didn't win. But this whole idea, we're not going to shake the other team's hands. Cal Raleigh's going to stiff his own club teammates and not shake their hand before games. Wish them good luck. Ninth inning last night. Javier Sanoja is the pinch runner at first base who ends up being the game-winning run. He pinch runs for Luis Ariz, who draws that leadoff walk, and he ends up stealing second base. But he goes in the game. I'm watching the game on Fox. Sanoja says something to Bryce Harper, like kind of smiles at him and says something. And they know each other from the sense of they're in the same division. Sanoja plays for the Marlins, Harper for the Phillies. And Harper, who I think generally, I mean, he's a competitor, but he's also a guy who knows how to be passionate and have fun. I think he showed that with his the big bat flip on the game-tying home run in the eighth. And Harper just ignored him, stone-faced, staring straight ahead. Didn't want any part of it. This whole idea that we're the troops and the other team is the enemy, and that's Team USA attitude. That's American baseball. And it didn't sit right with me the entire tournament. If you watched Venezuela celebrate, if you watched the outpouring of emotion, how could you not have been happy for them? How could you not have watched that and felt like, boy, this would be a whole lot different if it had been Team USA on the winning side of this? This would have looked a lot different. The trophy presentation would have looked a lot different. The national anthem ceremony would have looked a lot different. It meant so much. And one thing that I didn't even think about until the game was over, Salvador Perez caught last night for Venezuela. He was the team captain. And he caught the game last night, even though he is not Team Venezuela's primary catcher. That's William Contreras. He's a two-time All-Star. He's in his prime. He's a better player right now than Perez is. He's a better receiver than Perez is. But Salvi got to play last night because it might be his last time ever representing his country in an event like that. And he caught a great game. He said after the game in a post-game interview that starter Eduardo Rodriguez didn't shake him off. Not one time in the 4+ innings that he pitched. And Salvi got to catch the final out of that game. And if you guys remember, and it did not occur to me until after the game, Salvador Perez didn't get to catch the final out of the 2015 World Series that the Royals won.
Yeah.
He didn't get to catch the final out. He had been removed for a pinch runner in that 5-run rally, and Drew Butera caught the final out of that World Series. So Salvador Perez didn't get that moment for the Royals, but he got it for his country last night.
That's
and awesome. I just thought it was the coolest damn thing. And, you know, I would have been happy if Team USA had won. That's my country. I'd have been proud for that. But how could you not just have an ear-to-ear grin watching those Venezuelan players celebrate and seeing what it meant to them and seeing what the game of baseball means to them? And Harper got it right. Like, I applaud Harper. I think he's got really good perspective on the game. Because he said after the game, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the World Baseball Classic puts on display what makes baseball great because it is the coming together of all of the cultures, all of the baseball cultures, the Latin American baseball culture, the Caribbean baseball culture, the Far Eastern baseball culture, the American baseball culture, the United States baseball culture. And it all comes together and makes such a beautiful sport for the course of the next 6 months. I don't know how you didn't watch any of that tournament not get fired up for the baseball season. And if you're a Royals fan, how can you not be fired up for the season that you're about to see with World Baseball Classic MVP Michael Garcia, with America's shortstop Bobby Witt Jr., with Captain Italy Vinny Pasquantino? How can you not be excited? How could that not get you charged up for the baseball season in 2026? I just
let's go. I saw
I just
a
can't
social
wait.
video earlier today, and it was like, you know, the Royals were on display all over the World Baseball Classic. And it was also, I believe, Kansas City was like the most watched region, or one of the top 3 watched regions across the entire World Baseball Classic.
I believe it. And
the guy goes, just hand the AL Central title to the Royals already.
Hey, man, I sign up for that. You sign me up for that. You sign me up for
play the games.
Yeah, got to play the games. But you could sign me up for one of those. You could sign me up for an AL Central title coming to the K. We'll take a quick break, come back, wrap up this hour of 580 Sports Talk. All right, one got to go. International competitions. Olympic basketball, World Baseball Classic, Olympic hockey.
Basketball.
See, I think basketball is the one where It might be getting to be the best balance between, yes, the United States is still the clear favorite, but it's super competitive. And you don't take winning for granted necessarily anymore, but it's still the expectation. I guess with hockey, it's not the expectation. You get to be the underdog a little bit.
It
Team
might
USA.
also be recency bias.
Sure.
Because
we just experienced the last two.
What we just experienced in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, I can see that. World Baseball Classic also doesn't get what's happened. I saw somebody say this, and I think I might agree with it in a weird way. The best thing for the World Baseball Classic is for the Americans to reach the final and lose every year, because then that encourages more and more great American players to go sign up for it and be like, this isn't going to happen again. Like, they had the best pitching staff they've ever taken to one of these events, and they lost in the final. So maybe next year it's even more star-studded for Team USA.
Somebody said,
and maybe next time around they'll have a little fun.
Spread out the World Baseball Classic into the season.
Longer topic for discussion for another day, but I do think there's something maybe worth discussing there. We got headlines, and then we're off at 5:30 on this edition of 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Final half hour on this Wednesday on 580 Sports Talk. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis with you for just a bit longer on this hump day here on the Sports Voice of Kansas. 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and on our streaming video channels. Check us out on YouTube, 580 Sports, Facebook, WIBW News. In about 24 minutes, we'll be handing the ball to the Westwood One coverage of more First Four action from the NCAA men's basketball tournament. We got Prairie View and Lehigh leading off the day. And the second game of the day, the Red Hawks of Miami of Ohio taking on SMU. So we have Red Hawks and Mountain Hawks playing today. Asked earlier on the show, talked to CJ Moore about this in the 3 o'clock hour. Is this the NCAA tournament, or is this just prelude and the tournament starts on Thursday? How do you feel about that? Because I'm with CJ. Like, this isn't really the NCAA tournament. But if you win this game, you've won a game.
But your name was announced on Selection Sunday.
Yeah, you're a tournament team, and this is a tournament game. But
by technicality, you're on the bracket.
Yeah. See, Tyler in the YouTube chat earlier said you don't play a real game until the team you play has a different seed than you. Like, I can't go all the way there, but it definitely does feel like this is all just sort of like before the tournament. Like, the tournament doesn't really start until I'm watching the credits of The Price is Right, and it goes right into the NCAA tournament team on CBS.
Until your brackets lock.
Yeah, maybe that's part of it. Like, the tournament doesn't start till your bracket picks lock. I like that. I like that thought philosophy. Triple G on the YouTube chat says these games counting as tournament wins is kind of lame. I understand that. At the same time,
these schools, though,
Howard,
they make some money.
They do. Like, these are a big deal for 16 seeds,
especially
Howard
for mid majors
and their conferences.
Yeah,
because the conference gets a unit. You get a unit per win for your conference, and so Howard, what they brought home for the MEAC for beating UMBC last night, that's going to cover like the operating budgets for some of these athletic departments in the MEAC.
The thing that I hate about the first four is when Power 5 programs get in there, like major college basketball. Like, I think the first four should be mid majors.
See, I disagree completely. I think it should be. I don't think the 16s should have to go to Dayton. I think that these should all be bubble play-in games and not play-in games for the 16 seeds, which, again, I understand that there's big benefit for the 16s who do win these games, and I guess that's what the trade-off is. But I wish they would get like the full experience of being in that field and playing that one seed, having that opportunity to go play. And then all of the other games were 11s versus 11s. Like, the last 8 teams in the tournament should be playing. That's how I would do it if they asked me, and I don't think they're ever going to ask me. You never know. My DMs are open. I never know. Christopher's with me. Says it should be. He believes it should be the bottom 8 at-large selections that play in Dayton. So Christopher's with me on that. We want to hear from you in the live chat on YouTube, 580 Sports Talk. We want to hear from you on the text line, 785-272-9429. That's 785-272-9429. No Barkley and Vitale tonight.
I was going to say, certainly I don't think they're, I think they might be happy about that. In the broadcast trucks.
I won't be having to mute the broadcast tonight. I know that much. That was a rough one. That broadcast team. You had an analogy like what the football equivalent of that would be?
Yeah. Chris Collinsworth and Pat McAfee.
Oof. See. No. I guess Collinsworth is the closest thing that we have to that, though, in the NFL, though. He's the closest thing we have to Vitale.
Yeah.
Like the longest tenured analyst. It's him, yeah.
Or Troy Aikman.
No, Collinsworth's been doing it much longer.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, it's those two guys that are known.
Man, that that really gives some perspective how long Dick Vitale has been doing what he's been doing for sure. I would hard pass on that booth.
Yeah, me too.
Hardest of hard passes on that booth. I'll take the Barkley Vitale booth over those two because at least you have the chance for Barkley and Vitale to like be amusing at some point if they put their minds to it.
Speaking of broadcast, you know who will not be on the broadcast tonight for the play-in games?
Brian Anderson.
Brian Anderson. This is per Andrew Marchand. He covers sports media for The Athletic, I think, or did. Yeah. It'll be Jason Benetti.
Okay. I know Benetti's going to do some games for Westwood One on the radio.
Yes.
Yeah, Anderson, he was obviously going through it last night, and he's got to recover his voice.
Benetti now may complete the career cycle of working for every network.
Yeah, he's going to NBC to do Sunday Night Baseball.
Well, because he was doing Westwood One. I think he's on the Westwood One coverage teams.
Mm-hmm.
For the NCAA tournament.
He is.
So they're just going to have him spot fill for Anderson, who clearly needed a night off.
No, definitely did.
To recover.
Definitely did. So I guess that's where we'll start our 580 Sports Talk headlines. That's kind of our first headline of the day. We've got headlines and we got a final word before we get out of here today. Next headline, we'll give you some K-State basketball coaching news. We know the name of the first assistant anticipated to join Casey Alexander's coaching staff in Manhattan, Karan Johnson, who spent the last 4 seasons on staff at Belmont under Alexander. He's an all-time great player at Belmont as well, a member of the school's Hall of Fame, and he will make his way to K-State with Alexander. We don't have any player news, portal news, anything like that. Obviously, that will intensify as soon as the season itself comes to an end, but when we had Tim Fitzgerald on Monday, and for those of you who tuned in today and wondered, hey, wait a minute, where's Fitz? Why didn't we do Tim Fitzgerald Wildcat wrap-up today? Well, we did it on Wednesday, or Monday, instead of Wednesday this week. We talked to him immediately after Casey Alexander's press conference. And when we talked to Fitz on Monday, he said that he would anticipate the roster being largely a mix of Belmont players and Kansas State players. So that means there'll be some guys who are coming back, maybe a handful of guys that come. They say, he said maybe largely is an overstatement, but if there's 15 scholarship spots, wouldn't shock me if like 7 or 8 of those at max, and maybe more realistically like 5 or 6
during his presser that it's the continuity that he wants to create. So he said, while some people will definitely leave, there'll definitely be a couple guys at least that will stay. And I think that helps build the program.
Yes. And that's
because you can't have mercenaries in every year.
That is certainly what they need to
which
do.
Is what they've been doing.
Yes. Next headline, Spencer, give me one.
Yes. The NCAA tournament, Patrick
Gungba. Silent N.
Yes. He is out for the first game for Duke. Michael Brown is out for Louisville.
So Louisville's a very popular upset pick team, like people picking them to lose in the first round, a USF who got hot late and won the American. And I think they will be an even more popular upset pick now, knowing that Brown won't play for Louisville. He's a freshman. He's probably their best player. That's a big loss for Louisville. We talked to CJ Moore in the 3:00 hour, and he says, long-term, if Gungba can't play, it's a concern for Duke. Short-term, he doesn't see them having any problem getting through the first weekend without him. But if he can't play in the second weekend, that could be a real problem for Duke because he's their center. And that is one to keep an eye on because they're already down Caleb Foster. So when you're down 2 starters, you know, that can stretch your lineup a little bit, stretch your rotation. The other part of that, though, is that Duke was down those 2 starters, has been down those 2 starters for a couple of weeks now, and they won the ACC tournament. So clearly they got enough dudes. They can find a way to win games without those guys. But, it would be a lot nicer for Duke if they can get Gungba back. Next headline for me. How about this that Adam Schefter just reported? There is a collective bargaining negotiation happening between the NFL and the Referees Association.
Yeah, they need that.
And apparently, it's not coming along very well, to the point where the NFL is laying the groundwork for the hiring of replacement officials
Again?
for the 2026 season.
We've seen that show before.
We have. I'm smiling because I remember the Fail Mary, and I remember it fondly.
Yep.
The touchdown the Seahawks scored to beat the Packers on Monday Night Football. Look, man, simultaneous possession. The only reason people freaked out about the call is that one referee signaled dead ball and one referee signaled touchdown, and nobody signaled touchback, and it was very strange. But that is the reporting of ESPN's Kevin Seifert that the proposed approach is similar to what the NFL carried out during a 2012 lockout of officials, which extended 110 days and ended after the third week of the regular season. The league is looking for a list of about 150, mostly small college officials by the end of the weekend. Those officials could begin onboarding as early as April and then attend a 4-day clinic in May. The executive director of the Referees Association, Scott Green, is quoted as saying, "Frankly, I'm surprised they would even consider it after 2012." Because that Fail Mary game happened, and those refs had a CBA the next day. And do you remember what happened in week 4? It was a 3-week deal. Do you remember what happened across the league in week 4? The referees got standing ovation.
Yeah, they did.
Because it wasn't just that bad call. It was like all over the league. Atrocious officiating. The NFL in that time did use officials from lower level colleges and minor professional leagues, including the Arena League. So at least they're trying to pick from a better pool of officials. But nah, man, we complain about the refs. You notice when it's not the pros in there.
Yeah.
You sure as hell notice. Give me another headline.
Staying in the Sunflower State in college hoops, Wichita State men there in the NIT. They came back to beat Wyoming last night at Koch Arena, 74-70. They will travel to the world's best wrestling gymnasium, I believe Brendan calls it.
Yes.
At Oklahoma State.
Gallagher-Iba Arena.
Yes, Sunday, no tip time, but if they win that game, they'll go on to the quarterfinals and semifinals. Both of those are going to be at Hinkle Fieldhouse, and the NIT championship will be at Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
So Oklahoma State only dressed, I think, 8 scholarship players last night, and they still beat Davidson.
Yeah.
So obviously they've got a little fight in them. But
Wichita State's a 3 seed; they're a 2 seed. Yeah,
good for Wichita State. They had, we didn't talk about it much. Kind of happened under the radar. Obviously, it's a program whose profile has diminished since their Final Four run in 2013 and their undefeated regular season in 2014. But Paul Mills got them to 22-11 in the regular season this year. They went 14-3 at the Roundhouse. So they brought back some of that home court advantage to Charles Koch Arena. They reached the championship game of the American.
Which they had like a heck of a last 3.5 weeks of conference play.
Yeah, they got hot late.
Yeah.
And Kenyon Giles is one of the best shooters in the country. TJ Williams is a Wichita kid who had a big game for him last night. 17 points and 14 rebounds for the former Wichita Heights Falcon. So it's nice to see some excitement coming back to Wichita State basketball because I covered Wichita State hoops back when in my time in Wichita, and I can tell you that city loves their Shockers, loves college basketball, and I'm glad that Paul Mills has them back on what appears to be the right track. They're going to have to replace Giles. That won't be easy this offseason, but it's good to see that program getting some forward momentum back. Maybe they can put together a deep run in the NIT, pulling for the Shock always.
Paul Mills said he said you don't want to deny these players more basketball if they're invited. So
yeah, because some teams will turn that down. Depends on obviously what they expect the transfer portal might do. I believe. For instance, Belmont turned down an invite to the NIT because they were losing their coach and know they're going to lose some players. But Wichita State wins their first round matchup. I think Tulsa's the number 1 seed in their region.
Yeah.
So if they beat Oklahoma State, they could wind up facing their old Missouri Valley rival and current American Conference rival. Tulsa, I'm trying to find what they did. They beat Stephen F. Austin in overtime last night. So, could see a Wichita State-Tulsa matchup in Tulsa in the championship there. Next headline. I always get a big kick out of this whenever they release this. We got the Masters coming up here in a couple weeks in Augusta. And we have now seen, it has been unveiled, Rory McIlroy's Champions Dinner menu.
I'm ready. I haven't looked at this.
So the Champions Dinner is annual tradition. Only former winners of the Masters go to this dinner, and they eat in the clubhouse at Augusta National. And the reigning champion picks the meal and pays for everything. So this will not be a cheap date for Rory McIlroy. Here's what's on the menu. Appetizers. We've got peach and ricotta flatbread, rock shrimp tempura, bacon-wrapped dates, which I'm told is a favorite of his childhood, with goat cheese and almonds, and grilled elk sliders with caramelized onion jam and roasted garlic aioli. I bet those go absolutely crazy. I'd eat like 5 or 6 of those just as an appetizer. So those are your appetizers. Your first course, yellowfin tuna carpaccio with foie gras. I can't say that right. I'm not rich enough to be able to say that correctly. Toasted baguette and some chives. And then the main course, you get your choice of Wagyu filet mignon or seared salmon with traditional Irish champ. That's basically like mashed potatoes with scallions and like a big pool of butter in the middle. Yeah. It looks awesome. Sauteed Brussels sprouts, glazed carrots with brown butter, and crispy Vidalia onion rings. I'm going with the filet mignon myself.
Me too.
Yeah, that would be my choice. And sticky toffee pudding for dessert. Also, 4 wine and champagne options as the beverages. That is Rory McIlroy's Champions Dinner. Spencer, if you win the Masters, what are you serving for your Champions Dinner?
That's a great question. Cheeseburgers.
Just cheeseburgers, keeping it simple?
Cheeseburgers.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with some barbecue. I'd probably go with something like a smoked brisket, and some burn ends. Go with something like that. I'd go with some real expensive champagne and also like a craft beer flight, probably. Yeah. Dessert, I'm definitely going with a creme brulee. I might steal the idea for the elk sliders from the appetizer. I might steal that. Oh, they have the shrimp tempura too. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'd love to get invited to one of these someday, but I guess I better work on my short game if that's ever going to happen. That's it for your headlines. We'll take a break. We come back and wrap up this 580 Sports Talk show. Time for the final word on this Wednesday edition of 580 Sports Talk. Spencer, what you got?
What lovely weather we're having today.
True.
I've not been outside since I got in the building this morning, which I'm mad about because I wish I went out during lunch. But I've come up with an idea tonight. When I get home, we are going to put the TV out back, grab a couple chairs, grab dinner, and maybe an adult beverage, and sit there and watch the first 4 game out back.
Nice. That's a great idea.
Take advantage of the nice weather.
That is an outstanding idea. Final word for me today. It was always my experience when I played baseball, all the way up through high school and very briefly in college, that you could only play it well if you were playing with joy. You could not play baseball if you were squeezing the bat to sawdust. You could not play baseball with a stick up your backside. Baseball is a game that you have to play with a spirit of fun, with a spirit of joy, with a spirit of passion. Venezuela did in this World Baseball Classic, and the United States did not. And I think that's part of why Venezuela is the champions of the world, and the United States, despite having a better roster than everybody else, lost in the championship game for the second event in a row. We're back tomorrow from 3 until 6. For Spencer Dupuis, I'm Dan Lucero, and this is 580 Sports Talk. Good night.